we started with the neighbor hater on there.
The neighbors actually started to hate you
it was just a little too rowdy.
Just 2 years right there.
No, that's the last video? Hey, what's up guys? We're over here with Freerunner OG legend Matt Helton and his truck. Finally, we're back after, let's see how long.
This is 2 years right there.
No, that's the last video? Matt, thank you, bro. Thank you for allowing us to meet. And
thanks for coming over again.
Checking out the beast. I know there's been a lot of changes, some motor changes.
Couple of big changes. The engine, the whole ignition system.
Can you remind everybody what motor was in this again?
So it's a 22R, so 2.4 liter 4-cylinder. We lost some time with the engine debacle initially, and then LC offered to jump on board, build me a little ripper to put in here. So yeah, ever since then it's been smooth sailing. But that was a bit of a hiccup with that previous engine. So ish happens and all that. So we got through it. When we look back at 2 years ago, the last time you were here,
what were we still trying to do?
The truck was very not. It was probably half this done. I mean, we just had suspension hung on it and some fiberglass started mount. I had no bumpers, no accessories mounted, no wiring, no plumbing yet. Definitely hadn't sat on its own weight yet. No paint on any of the body panels yet, obviously. So yeah, I've come a long way since the last video.
That's a huge win, man.
Yeah.
You know, you've driven it since then.
Yeah.
How were those 250 miles?
There were some teething issues with a little bit of that. With, like I said, the ignition system, I battled for a while. I spent a lot of time trying to get it to work, but it had this intermittent issue where it kept sputtering and cutting out. And
damn.
So after about 5 different trips to the desert, trying to get it to work, I just got fed up and I ripped all of it out and threw it in the trash.
So the second thing I was going to ask was, you said like tuning and valving and all that stuff.
Yeah.
You said you had a pretty good base tune from what you had just from experience. Was some things unexpected, and how did you go about like handling that? Like
with any vehicle, there's always room for improvement. Every course is a little different. Every area of the desert's a little different, but overall, I have it at a place where I'm super comfortable with it, and you can drive it confidently, and you don't have to worry about doing any weird stuff. I've just made minimal valving changes along the way, nothing really big, and some tube turning and all that. But it was hard to remember my old truck 20 years ago, the valving I had in it, because it's been so long and I'm freaking old now. But so I just kind of guessed with the initial valving that I threw in it, and it was fairly close. So. And
you do all that yourself, Matt, or do you go through anybody else? No?
Yeah,
you're the guy?
I do. Yeah, I just do all the shocks myself. We do them at my shop for the race cars. And so I do all of them on this, my boy's truck, and my buddy here, shockseals.com, Chris, he always takes care of all my seals and oil and wear bands and all that jazz.
So, dude, I think it's time. Let's check this thing out. So, can we start with this beefy ass Helton bumper right here?
Absolutely.
I like this thing, dude. What is this? The pusher? What do we?
Yeah, it's the ramrod. It's pretty much the identical bumper to my old truck 20 years ago.
Dude, I mean, it's insane.
It's almost identically built and all that. I've always liked to have big bumpers on stuff.
Right on. So you ready to move some fools with this thing?
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, I don't want to get. I'm not the cocky type, but yeah, I mean, if someone gets in the way,
someone is perhaps in my way,
if someone's perhaps in the way,
I will gently tap them.
Yes, I will gently tap them and ask them to move. But
I mean, it's crazy to see this version of the truck. You know, you keep saying like 20 years ago, but it is the same truck in a sense, but it's like the 2024 version. Dude.
Exactly.
It's like it's built for this desert. You know what I'm saying?
It's almost the same, but it's different. I mean, obviously, I built this one a little better than the old truck, fab wise and design wise, but parts wise, chassis wise. I mean, it's all the same. Yeah. Same frame, same suspension. Same driveline, same transmission. So I mean, like, it's very, very, very similar to the old truck.
Hell yeah.
From back in the day. So, and that was the whole goal.
Well, we're gonna have to definitely take a look at that motor before we go.
We'll pull some panels off here in a little bit. If you want, we can take a look in the cab.
Let's do it. You want me to go?
Yeah, you can go on the other side, or I think I just had like the seats mounted and some of the dash started last time we were here. And since then, wiring, plumbing, GPS, and this is all just. We talked before about simplicity and basicness of everything, and this is about as basic as you can get, and that was the whole point also. And as you can see, it's just business only. There's no foofing or frilling or fancy shit in here. It's just
make it work. I love it, dude. So clean, like you said, so simple, looking great.
Just the basics and all the safety stuff, and to be tech legal and
yes, sir. Heck yeah.
We could step in the back and take a peek over.
What was all done back then?
So all the tube work was here. It was painted. Shock mounts were done, but there was no plumbing, no fuel lines, no wiring. Jack wasn't here. Jack handled. Number plates, lights, fire extinguisher, fuel filler might have been done. But yeah, otherwise it was pretty bare. I think I just had the fender mounts done at the time. But there's been a lot that's happened since then.
Did you have to make any changes once you drove the truck back here? Was there anything that you needed to change at all?
No, back here, nothing
changed?
Nothing changed. Like I said, just playing with the shocks has been it. Other than that, well, here's the 2 fuel pumps I mentioned that weren't here originally. The original engine was going to be a mechanical fuel pump, and then with the LC motor, ended up needing an electric pump, and then I'm like, okay, I'll just add a second while I'm doing, because if I'm doing one, I might as well put in 2 to make redundant systems. So that's where the fuel pumps ended up.
Okay.
So those guys weren't here before, so that was a change after the first time I drove it. But yeah,
how's the drive shaft and all that good stuff?
Everything's been working fine so far with knock on wood. Haven't had any issues with the driveline or anything.
And then what rear end is in this thing?
So it's a 4.9-inch. That's a Curry housing with a 4.9-inch third member. Still has flanged axles, which is kind of a big deal because a lot of people frown upon that, but not me.
Hey, it is what it is, man. Whatever works for the budget,
Yeah, and but it's got the big 35 spline, set 80 bearing, and all that. So it's like the biggest float or semi-floater, axles and bearings you could put in a 9-inch. So Lowrance built the third member for me, and that's been doing bitching so far. It's a 6:33 ratio ring and pinion, which is a really low gear compared to what a lot of people run.
Okay,
but
and why is that?
Because I only have 150 horsepower and a 37-inch tire. To be able to turn that, you need a really low gear ratio. Yeah. So if the gear rate's any taller, it just won't get out of its own way. Because the clutch and transmission is completely stock. The driveline doesn't see that it has 37s because that gear ratio takes all the load out of the driveline. So, and that's how I'm able to get away with a stock transmission and a stock clutch, is because of that gear ratio. For every 1 spin of the tire, that drive shaft turns 6.3 times. It's going. So
it's working.
Yeah. So that's how those stock components can live. And this thing can still get up and get out of its own way. But yeah, there's only 1 or 2 more ratios lower than that. But most guys, run
at that point. It's like rock crawler stuff. Huh?
Yeah, but most guys in their pre-runners and V8 trucks, they got like a 5.0 gear or a 488 even or something like that.
Kind of standard.
Yeah, but to get up over 6 is a is a really low gear. So, but that's 4-cylinder life.
And speaking of that 4-cylinder, you think it's time to look at that bad thing?
Yeah. All right, there she is.
All right, man. Sexy wiring.
Yep, so LC Engineering out of Havasu put this together for me. It's basically what they call it their stage 3 stroker, which means that it's got a stroked crankshaft, a little bigger piston. Basically, it's all race parts.
Got it.
In this motor, and makes as much power as it can make for being a single carburetor and on pump gas. I could have put...
Is it like an 80, like a 91 car?
The what?
Like that runs on 91 knock?
Yeah, it runs on 91, yeah. I could have ran it on E85 or race gas and gotten more power, but I just don't want to deal with the headache of that. The beauty of just pulling up to a gas station and putting in fuel is like... I also could have ran dual carburetors and made a bunch more power, but the headache of that is not where I want to be with this. Right. The simplicity of this single Weber I have on it is like this carburetor is like a set it and forget it carburetor with the tuning of it. And once it's dialed, it just goes. That's the big limiting factor with making this thing a lot sicker power-wise, and I just didn't want to go that far with it, so they were able to oblige me with. But everything else is as sick as you can build this engine inside with all their custom parts and everything else. And,
well, it sounds like the motor's almost kind of like, in a weird sense, like detuned in a way, to where like it's capable of so much more. It's capable
of more, but
but you're keeping it conservative.
Yes, because
for
reliability and just ease of.
Because I'm sure you could have probably got at least another like 50 horsepower.
Oh, at least, yeah. I could have been up around 200 horse with dual carbs and E85.
Yeah.
But like I said, it's just not worth the hassle to me. And this thing runs plenty good the way it is. It's really fun. So like I don't want to deal with the headache of the side drafts and all that.
I mean, I think it fits the truck. I think the truck's probably gonna, I'm sure you already know, drives really well with this horsepower.
Yeah, it does.
You could make it work.
Yeah. I've also weighed the truck since you were here last because it wasn't complete last. And I was pretty pleased with the weight. It ended up being like 3,400 pounds race ready, full fuel.
Wow. 3,400 pounds, dude. You guys hear that?
Yeah, and that's with 32 gallons of gas in it.
That's awesome. That's wow.
Yeah, so when you look at power to weight, it's still not that bad. And the weight balance also was like almost dead 50-50 front and rear. So that's pretty bitching too.
I know, you can't hide that smile. That's pretty awesome.
And that's another reason too why I always like to run the fuel cell in the back of the truck. These trucks like some weight in the back to help carry the front.
We're trying to tell these kids, Matt. We're trying to tell them all, put that weight in the back, dude.
Yeah, and that's why the battery's back there. And
everything.
And the spare and all that shit. And all the heavy stuff's up here. So you need to get some weight back there to try and balance it out. So it works a little better in the bumps and it jumps better and all that stuff. So yeah, we can fire it up if you want to hear it.
I think so.
Give me a hell yeah!
Good.
Yeah.
Good job.
Purrs like a kitten.
Dude, sounds so good.
That's a Black Widow muffler on there too.
Oh, the homie's at Black Widow.
Little race venom.
That's the race venom exhaust on this thing. Those are the homies. So stoked, man. This truck's come a long way.
Yeah, and along with the Black Widow, so we started with the neighbor hater on there initially, and
the neighbors actually started to.
It was just a little too rowdy.
Okay.
For this thing being a 4-cylinder and as short as the exhaust is, it was just too obnoxious and aggressive, and just I was like, yeah, what do you guys got for me that's going to be a little more quiet,
a little more chill,
and so Brian goes, I'll get you a race venom. That'll so it's. And I put that on, it was perfect.
Our buddies over at Black Widow Exhaust, super great guys, hardcore pre-runner dudes. They build stuff for everything, obviously. At core, pre-runner guys. So support Black Widow, support small American businesses. Awesome guys, hit them up. They're Orange County, right?
Yeah, no, I think they're like Corona. Yeah, but they're it's all made in the States, all made in California.
They're here, dudes. Support the homies, Black Widow Exhaust for sure.
Yeah, everything's made here in California.
And that's the Venom?
Yeah, the race Venom.
Venom.
2.5 inch in and out race Venom.
Well, heck yeah, man. Anything else in this bad boy? Anything else you want to, maybe, I don't know, like plans about this thing, or like next steps or goals with this thing? Or
we're planning on racing it a couple weeks ago. It didn't happen. We had some stuff come up, but it's going to get raced again at the next more race. So life happens and things happen and stuff gets in the way, but we're going to get it out in the dirt in the next month or two and get it raced finally and see what happens, because playing is one thing, racing is another when it comes to proving builds and equipment and stuff like that. So
those are some big facts, you guys. It's man playing racing
300 miles around Lucerne. Next month we'll see if this thing's actually legit or not, or if I've got to go back to the drawing board on some stuff, but I'm pretty confident that we'll have a good weekend out there, and
that's what's up.
It's me and the boy. We're gonna take turns driving it.
Let's do it, dude. You ready for this? That's what's up.
And co-driving, we'll just switch seats every lap and have some fun. And
dude, that's like ultimate dad goals right there, man. Like all you guys need to get on that level. This is a really huge thing. I mean, I think this is like almost every off-road dad's goal, man. You know,
that's pretty cool. Yeah,
so cool. More is a great series. Our buddy Cody and his wife run that over there. Super great grassroots American rad series. If you guys have never been to a More race, highly encourage you guys check out their site. They got a lot of stuff coming up, and sometimes we'll be out there too. Sometimes we'll have friends out there. Sometimes we'll even have trucks from our videos out there that we've done some episodes on. It doesn't get any more core or grassroots than More. Well, that's it for this episode, guys. Matt, I'm sorry it took so long for us to come back.
Hey, well, it's not your fault. Mostly on this end.
I hope you guys are inspired. I cannot wait for you guys. I can't wait to get some footage of this thing, but I can't wait for you guys to see this thing in action. We're going to follow Matt along for the rest of this truck's journey. You know, we want to be there. We want to see him go out and play and have some fun in this thing with his son, and also, you know, hit some races and have some good times out there. You guys know how much this truck means to us. So thank you, Deaver. Thank you, Black Widow Exhaust.
Total Chaos.
Total Chaos. The
LC
OGs.
Engineering.
LC Engineering for making this thing sound like a freaking like purring kitten. If you guys liked it, comment, let us know. If you guys have questions or anything, put it in there too. I'm going to bug Matt. Maybe he'll let us bring this thing to the Off-Road Expo again next year.
Oh, absolutely. I'd love to have it there again.
That'd be really cool.
Yeah, for sure.
Thank you guys so much. We'll see you guys around later.
Right on.